Hello everyone, welcome to Anime No Me, and thank you for joining us for another One Piece video. In the story of One Piece, the mothers of some characters were integral in shaping the personality and eventual goals that they have. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the mother of each of the important characters, how their personality was formed, and the type of relationship that they had with their children. But before we dive into the video, if you're new to the channel or even if you've watched a bunch of our videos, we'd be absolutely honored if you'd leave us a like or even subscribe and maybe leave us a comment letting us know what you thought of the video. It really helps us out and motivates us to make more content. And if you'd like to help us out in a bigger way, consider sharing this video or your favorite with a friend. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So my friends, we're going to start talking about the very first character who, although not a blood mother, but let's be real, One Piece is a story about the family you choose, not necessarily the family you come from. So this first mother was not only important in raising her children, but also has a very significant role in the story of One Piece overall. In her youth, Bellemere was known to be a troublemaker, although her decision to join the Marines ended up shocking all the villagers where she came from. But even with this shocking decision, they still all deeply cared for her well-being, despite the trouble she may have caused them early on. Because of her past, when she decided to adopt two daughters, Nami and Nojiko, this led some of the people from her village to fear that something might happen to her. However, Bellemere was determined to show everyone that she had become a mature adult who was able to take on these immensely important responsibilities. And despite her past, she deeply cared for her daughters and tried to give them as much as she could, often prioritizing these two little girls over herself. And this was proven many times where times were tough and she only ate the fruit that she grew in her orchard to make sure that the other two girls ate all they needed. And the lengths she went to keep feeding her daughters included lying to them about being on a diet just so they wouldn't worry. But her only regret was that she could not give them everything they wanted in life. Yet she loved them as if they were her own and fiercely protected them. In fact, Bellemere ended up sacrificing her life so that Nami and Nojiko could stay alive and safe from the people that had arrived on the island, showing that even though she wasn't necessarily their blood mother, she was the mother and great protector of these two characters. The next character that played a very important role in the story was the important character of Nico Olivia. See, she was a great archaeologist on the island of Ohara, and because she was searching and learning about the poneglyphs, this put her life and the people around her in danger, especially that of her daughter of Nico Robin. Because of the danger that Olivia's presence presented, she decided to leave Ohara and wanted to go and search the world to learn about the true history and the events that happened during the Void Century. And she even endured torture after being arrested by the Marines just to keep everyone who had been helping her in Ohara safe, proving to be a brave and determined woman. Nico Olivia loved Robin so much, so the decision to leave her hurt her deeply. However, she didn't lose hope and was willing to stay behind during the fire at the Tree of Knowledge to save the books. And while Olivia did everything she could to save the knowledge, she sent Robin away with Saul in order to give her daughter a chance to live to the fullest and to discover the true history and expose this knowledge to everyone in the world so they too could know what happened during the Void Century. Because of Olivia's tragic end, she wasn't able to be there as long as some of the other mothers in our story. But Olivia always loved her daughter, and even after having to leave her behind, she always was proud of Robin and was truly amazed at this beautiful and intelligent child who could even read the poneglyphs at this tender young age. Now, let's talk about Bankinna, Usopp's mother. Now, we don't know much about her past, only about her personality, and she was an exceptionally kind woman who deeply cared about her family. She was also always true in her love to her husband Yasopp and waited for him to come home, but because of her illness, she never got to see Yasopp come back. But while still alive, her son Usopp did everything he could to cheer her up. This desire to cheer his mother up is of course the origin of Usopp's lies, because he had a habit of trying to lie and comfort his mother's heart by telling her these fantastical stories. But his lies became a constant even after Bankinna lost her life, causing Usopp to carry this weight for pretty much the rest of his life up until now. The next mother on our list is Vinsmoke Sora, who is of course Sanji's mother. Now, she's always been shown to be a very kind and caring woman, but also had a great strength of character because of what she had to endure under Judge's rule. She loved her children and was fiercely protective, believing that they should grow up with normal human emotions, not the machines to coldly take people's lives like Judge wanted. Because of this defiance, she did everything in her power to resist her husband's experiments on her children, even to the point of sacrificing her own life. Sora deeply appreciated compassion and particularly adored Raiju and Sanji, who were the only two of her children to exhibit any empathy or compassion. Now, although she might have preferred them both, she loved all her children, and it was this love that motivated her to risk her own life. While she was pregnant with her 4 children, she took a drug and a poison that was intended to counteract the effects of the genetic modification surgery that Judge would eventually force her to undergo. However, the drug didn't seem to work on Ichi, Niji, and Yonji, leaving Sanji as the only one able to feel empathy. Now, although not much is known about her relationship with Ichi, Niji, and Yonji, Sora's love was reciprocated by Raiju and Sanji, who occasionally visit her in the medical ward. Sora, of course, loved Sanji in particular because of his kindness and compassion, and even ate his first plates of food that were really, let's be honest, bad and had to have tasted disgusting, and yet she did it with a smile and praised him as the sweetest boy in the world. During Raiju's visit, Sora would proudly share stories about Sanji's emotional growth with her daughter, demonstrating that she had a great affection for Sanji and was honestly the one who motivated Sanji to want to become the greatest cook he could be. Moving on, let's talk about Otohime, being the mermaid queen of the Ryukyu kingdom. Now, Otohime was a very open-minded individual about all races and constantly tried to promote a friendship between fishmen and humans. She always implored the fishmen and mer people to not judge humans for the acts that they did against them, because not all humans were equal. There were humans that surely did have awful intention toward the fishmen, but there were also humans who did not carry prejudice in their hearts. Otohime was very dedicated to the welfare of her people and was also very encouraging and influential with the common people, as she told a thief that she believed that he could change his life, and led him to turning the page and surrendering to the authorities rather than putting up a fight. However, despite all this, it was not enough for many citizens to sign her petition to improve the interspecies relationship. Even though she was almost unsuccessful, she remained persistent and was never deterred in believing that there could be a coexistence. She was also very brave and bold, accompanying a world noble to the surface to prove to her people that the surface should not be feared, despite the noble showing extreme cruelty and ingratitude. As part of her immense desire to strengthen the bonds between mankind and that of the fishmen, Otohime was very merciful and kind, and hated no one, despite any offense that they might have done to her or her people. She even tried to get everyone around her to let go of their hatred, believing that it should not be passed on to the next generation, believing that she would be the one to change everyone and change the world. Otohime loved her family, and although her husband Neptune didn't always play an active role in her campaign for integration, he always strongly supported her, because all she ever wanted was a bright future for her children and the rest of the people in Fishman Island. We don't know much detail about the relationship she had with all of her children, but we could see that she was very present in their lives and had Shirahoshi as her favorite, because Otohime saw that there was something special in her daughter, that she too possessed the same goodness of heart that Otohime possessed, so Shirahoshi had a great future ahead of her. The next mother we'd like to talk about is Toki. Now, she was friendly and caring, and she ended up taking care of Odin when he appeared and scared away the human traffickers that had been after her. Because Toki had traveled most of her life, she didn't have a lot of friends and therefore could be a bit naive. After all, she was with the human traffickers in the first place because she thought that they were going to take her to Wano, proving that she really did have a pure heart and believed in people's intentions. After Toki married Odin, the retainers of Odin came to possess tremendous respect for her, and Toki was humble while working with the citizens of Kuri and never bragged about being the wife of a daimyo. Toki also deeply loved her children, and when the beast pirates came and set fire to the castle in Kuri to take the lives of the last descendants of the Kazuki, Toki held Momonosuke and Hiyori close to her to keep them safe. And just like some of the other mothers we've discussed earlier, she too gave up her life so that Momonosuke and Hiyori could get out alive, so that they could return in the future with the allied and future saviors of Wano. But she also lost her life in a very public way to get the attention of the beast pirates and distract them from taking her children. Finally, let's talk about a character who, all like some of ours, are not officially a mother, was still incredibly important to 2 and maybe possibly 3 characters of her story, being responsible for making them what they became. And this is, of course, Dadon, the leader of the mountain bandits. Sometime in the past, Garp kinda blackmailed her into taking care of Ace and Luffy, and this was in exchange for her freedom. Now, although she didn't want to, she really didn't have any other option, so she accepted the deal and thus took in these 2 children who had had very well-known parents. Luffy was the son of Monkey D. Dragon, the leader of the Revolutionary Army, and Ace was the son of the former Pirate King Gold D. Roger. So these 2 children were wanted worldwide. so Dadon took care of them anyway, not really caring that they were the children of very powerful people in the world. Now, the methods she supposedly employed to discipline both Luffy and Ace could be quite questionable, although Luffy seemed to be able to endure them easily, as Garp's treatment of them was even worse. Just think about his punches of love. Although she's seen with a gruff exterior saying that she hated brats, she seems to really care about Luffy and Ace as if they were her own children, but seems too ashamed or proud to admit it after years. But after Ace and Luffy left in their adventures as pirates, we do see deep down that she truly loved the two boys. Upon learning that Ace had lost his life during the confrontation at Marineford, Dadon was shown extremely upset, especially at the thought of how much Luffy would be suffering because of the loss of his brother. She was even upset enough to go out and attack and beat up Garp, someone she was usually deathly afraid of, further demonstrating her wonderful deep down love for these boys. Now, despite having this great and deep affection for Ace and Luffy, this was still something she really refused to say, but Garp still understood her heart, allowing him to take several hits for the anger she was feeling, because Garp allowed the Marines to take Ace's life. And Dadon has even showed shedding tears after hearing the news that Sabo had lost his life during his childhood. And although she may not have as strong of feelings for Sabo as compared to the other two boys, because really Ace and Luffy are around longer, she still had a deep bond with all three, and now she probably still on her island in the mountains looks to see about the wonderful things that Luffy and Sabo are up to these days. But with all that said, my friends, we'd love to know what you think about it now. Were there any moms that we missed? And also, whose mom do you think really influenced our future story the most? As you can see, we focused on the parents of the crew, and there are still a few people that we don't know about. Of course, not Frankie or Brooke or, well, even Chopper, although that might be more of a kind of story that we've seen in other children's cartoons. But let us know what you think, and if there's somebody else you'd love to hear about it, let us know in the comments too. So as we bring this video about moms to a close, we want to thank you all so much for watching the video all the way up to the very end. Be sure you comment any themes or ideas that you'd like to see in future videos. And also, since you made it this far, give us a like and hit that red subscribe button before you head out to take on the rest of your day. I hope to see you all in our next video, and let's keep sailing this giant sea together. Take care.